Let's call to order our Service City Council meeting scheduled for today, May the 8th. We have a roll call. Ms. Adams?
Mayor Clea McCaw.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Carolyn Humphrey.
Present.
Councilmember Faye Jackson.
Present.
Councilmember David Jones.
Present.
Councilmember Angelica Landry.
Present.
Councilmember Mark Rodriguez.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll have our invocation by Reverend Allison Cornell of the Rector St. Stephen's Episcopal, and our Pledge of Allegiance will follow with Councilman Jackson. Can you please stand?
Let us pray. Holy One, known by many names and beyond all names, Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Spirit of community, Spirit of justice, we ask your blessing on the people who have been called to lead the community in which we live, work, and play. Help them as leaders to ask not first, how do we fix this, but what do we need to learn? How might we need to change? To whom do we need to listen? Remind them, because we all forget from time to time, especially in the noisiness of politics, current events, and media hype, that they are not only leaders, but also servants, and that it is their responsibility and ours to serve the common good for all. Remind them that everyone is our neighbor and our brother and sister, and that throughout the ages, prophets have called the leaders of the people to respect and protect the least among those, our children, the elderly, the poor, those who are hungry, the unhoused, the ones who are ill in body, mind, or spirit, the strangers and immigrants in our midst, those who live on the margins, those who are alone, and those who are overlooked. Grant them and us the wisdom and courage to know and to do what is right and good and true. May they and we speak out when it is time to speak out, and listen patiently and receptively when it is time to listen. May they and we always be guided by the spirit of community, by the spirit of justice, and by the spirit of love. We ask this in the name of all that we hold sacred and holy, all that we hold good and right and true. May it be so. Amen.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance?
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend. And we have our acceptance of agenda, Councilman Jones.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the agenda for the regular city council meeting of May 8th, 2025 be approved. Second.
Been properly moved in second. Discussion. I call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, seeing none, it is passed. And now we have awards and presentations. We now have a proclamation for the National Small Business Week. Staff report. Mr. Boone.
All right, Mayor and Council. Small businesses are the lifeblood of the U.S. and our local economies. They provide the majority of jobs, goods, and services, and serve as a catalyst for the community support and economic vitality. According to the Small Business Administration, there are 34.7 million small businesses across the country, employing more than 59 million people and accounting for more than 43% of all the economic activity. Sierra Vista is proud to be the home of many fantastic small businesses and entrepreneurs, and recognize the positive impact they make in our community and on our rural economy. As such, we seek to join in the nationwide recognition of Small Business Week.
Proclamation from the City of Sierra Vista. Whereas the City of Sierra Vista recognizes and values the contributions, economic significance, dedication, and entrepreneurial spirit within our community, and understands that small businesses are the backbone of our great nation and city. And whereas the President of the United States has proclaimed National Small Business Week every year since 1963 to highlight the programs and services available to entrepreneurs through the United States Small Business Administration, and other government agencies. And whereas the City of Sierra Vista supports and joins in this national effort to help America's small businesses do what they do best, and to remind individuals of the importance of this community celebration, which acknowledges and celebrates the achievements made by small businesses locally. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Cleo Mercado, Mayor of Sierra Vista, Arizona, do hereby proclaim May 4th through the 10th National Small Business Week, in and for the City of Sierra Vista, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the great seal of the City of Sierra Vista to be affixed this 8th day of May, in the year of our Lord, 2025, in the independence of the United States, 248. Cleo Mercado, Mayor.
We're good. So as part of National Small Business Week for the City of Sierra Vista, we would like to invite Eddie Franco, his wife Florinda, and guest up. Franco, come join us. Bring your band.
And anybody else wants to come up?
Yeah, Noah's welcome. Please come. Please come up right here.
Okay, so everybody in here.
Bring that baby
This
over
used to
here.
be my father's barber. Nice to meet you.
He's good? He's good. Yeah, Noah was having fun earlier. So I have the pleasure to present this on behalf of the Economic Development Commission. And actually, I would call out Councilmember Johnson. He was actually very excited last year when the commission pulled this together. So unfortunately, he can't be with us today. But so today, the City of Sierra Vista and the members of the Economic Development Commission join in the celebration of the contributions of our locally owned small business. After careful consideration of all the business recognition nominees, Franco's Barbershop has been selected as the Sierra Vista Small Business of the Year for their unique role, impact, and dedication to the community as expressed by their clients. Eddie Franco has been serving the Fort and Sierra Vista community for well over 60 years, 63, I believe, and has owned his West End business for 34 years. Now, many of his clients have been loyal customers for decades, and he cites customer service as one of the keys to his long-term success. One of his nominators stated that he is an amazing example of a hardworking man and deserves more recognition than he could ever be given. All right, somebody hand you this. Mr. Perry, you wanna present?
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And if you want, I'll put my number in and then text me. So I have yours, and then I'll send you the ones I just.
So for those in the back, I want to read the certificate, and Frank, I'll give you a chance to speak. So during the Small Business Week, we recognize the dedication, achievements, contributions, and value of our small businesses provide. The City of Sierra Vista congratulate Franco's Barbershop on this well-deserved recognition. We thank you for doing business here, and we wish you many more years of continued success.
Well, I do everything at the shop, clean, everything, so I'll speak. I want to thank everybody that, our clients, and because we've had so many of them, and we shared with the ladies that went, so nice ladies that went up there, and we shared, we laughed, we cried, I cried, because my daughter passed away, and so I just had one little girl, and I got two granddaughters and a great grandson. So But I appreciate my husband. He's been so loyal to his customers. And he's been real good to them. And he's had a lot of them come back, from away from when he was at the post. So I just want to congratulate him. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Franco. And now we have our city manager report, sir.
Thank you, Mayor McCaw, members of the council. Your next regular work session is scheduled for Tuesday, 20th of May, 3 p.m. here in the council chambers. We'll continue our budget discussions at that time. Then, of course, your next regular council meeting is for Thursday, the 22nd of May, 5 p.m., also here in the council chambers. An early reminder that city offices will be closed in observance of Memorial Day on Monday, May 26th. A few projects tonight. Our annual street maintenance is in progress, so a lot of work being done around town, and that should be completed by June 30th. The Garden Avenue Streetscape project is set to commence next week and will be completed in December of 2025. Staff is currently working to inform the business owners of the plans for the upgrades there on North Garden Avenue. The Martin Luther King Jr. reconstruction from Ebony to Escuela to State Route 90 is also expected to start next week, and as with Garden Avenue, we are working with the businesses in that area to inform them of how that is going to go. No timeline yet for completion on that. And then the shared use path on State Route 92 from Ebony to Cochise to Foothills. The pre-bid meeting is scheduled for May 20th with bids scheduled to open on June 6th. Yesterday, I received the March sales tax report from Mr. Felix, and it shows increases in hotel and restaurant and bar tax, which I think is to be expected due to the presence of the 10th Mountain Division personnel here. But overall, our sales tax is down at that time, for that period of time, about $44,000. And for the year, we're actually flat, $11,000 difference between this year and last year. So no sales tax growth to speak of. We are over budget, though, since we budget conservatively by about $313,000 for the year. So not great news, but not the worst news either. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments for city manager? All right, we'll move on. Item number 2, Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor, I move that the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the work session meeting of April 22nd, 2025, and council meeting minutes of April 24, 2025, and resolution 2025-032, the reappointment of Rebecca Dallas, Gwen Calhoun, Judy Wan, and Carolyn Cruz to the Arts, Humanities, and Cultural Diversity Commission, said terms to expire April 30th, 2027. Resolution 2025-033, reappointment of Julia McCall and Angela Givens to the Neighborhoods Commission, said terms to expire April 30th, 2027. And Resolution 2025-034, the acceptance of the resignation of Iris Ellison with regret, and reappointment of Sharon Driver and Verna Williams to the Commission on Disability Issues, with said terms to expire April 30th, 2027, be approved.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Discussion items?
I think most of those commissioners are on commissions. I serve as liaison, so I just want to thank some of the commissioners that took the time to show up today, like Judy and Rebecca. It's wonderful to see you guys again. So thank you for continuing to serve. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank all the commissioners as well for being the voice of the community. That's the biggest part of the commission, is the feedback you hear from the people that attend the meetings. If you've never attended a commission meeting, I recommend you look at our website, find one of them, visit all of them, and you may find yourself interested enough to join the commission. Well, thank you.
Any others? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, seeing none, it is passed. And item number 3, Councilwoman Landry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that resolution 2025-035, a conditional use permit for a place of worship located on parcel 105-10-0228 at 100 Second Street for True Vine Ministries be approved.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Staff report, Mr. Burglar. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. True Vine Ministries is proposing to locate a new place of worship at 100 South 2nd Street, located within the Midtown Plaza. The mission of the church is to provide a place of worship, provide support services for those in need, and engage in outreach programs that enhance the well-being of Sierra Vista residents. Now, the applicant has stated that the property is an ideal location for the church for several reasons. One, the property is financially feasible, allowing the allocation of additional resources toward community outreach and assistance. Number two, the location provides accessible and convenient services to the West End community. And three, the proximity to local organizations enables collaboration to effectively provide aid to those in need and support local community programs and small businesses. Now, the Development Code does require a conditional use permit for a place of worship in all zoning districts, hence the purpose of this request. Now, the applicant will need to meet all building code requirements prior to building occupancy. So according to the Development Code, no conditional use permit shall be recommended for approval or receive a final action of approval unless a positive finding based upon substantive competent evidence is made on each of the following. Number one, the characteristics of the site are suitable for the proposed use, considering size, shape, location, topography, existence of improvements, and natural features. Secondly, the proposed development is timely, considering adequacy of transportation systems, public facilities, and services existing or planned for the area affected by the use. Three, the proposed use will not alter the character of the surrounding area in any manner that substantially limits, impairs, or precludes the use of surrounding properties for the primary uses listed in the district. And finally, the proposed use satisfies those goals, objectives, and policies of the general plan that are applicable to the proposed use. So staff has analyzed the 4 criteria and has provided the following analysis. First, the surrounding properties and uses are commercial. The place of worship will have minimal impact on the adjacent uses, as many of the businesses will be closed during the worship services, which are typically on Sundays starting at 11 a.m. Christian education will also be offered, occurring on Tuesdays starting at 6 p.m., again after the closure of many of the businesses. Secondly, the site is adequately parked for a place of worship. According to the Development Code, the minimum number of parking spaces for places of worship is calculated by measuring total square feet of the main sanctuary divided by 50. The main sanctuary is approximately 1,000 square feet, which would require no more than 20 parking spaces. Now, based on a site inspection and aerials and the applicant's submission, there are 14 marked parking spaces and a capacity for additional 12 spaces in the parking lot, which more than meets the parking demand for the place of worship. The applicant has stated that the church averages 30 to 35 members each Sunday. Staff next reviewed the place of worship's ability to serve. There is access to the shopping center from South 2nd Street. According to the ITE trip generation rates, the average Sunday vehicle trips for a place of worship per 1,000 square feet of gross floor area is 31 vehicle trips. With the gross floor area of the main sanctuary approximately 1,000 square feet, the average vehicle trips on Sunday will be around 31 vehicles, which can be accommodated by South 2nd Street. Additionally, there is an 8-inch sewer line in Bartow Drive, which can handle the existing sewer connections in the building. The use's compatibility with the surrounding area was next reviewed. Again, with all adjacent properties being commercial, the businesses will be closed during the service hours, so there will be minimal impact on the surrounding area. Finally, the request was reviewed to determine compliance with the general plan. The request does meet Goal 1-1 and Goal 13-3. Now, the Planning and Zoning Commission heard this item at their April 29th meeting. The Commission unanimously recommended approval of the request. Notification of the date and times of the public hearings were mailed to all property owners within 500 feet of the property. A public notice sign was placed on the site and an ad was inserted into the Herald. The city has not received any comments regarding this request. I believe the applicants are in the audience tonight to answer any questions you may have. This does conclude staff's report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Any comments, questions? Yes, sir.
Just good to see another building on the west end getting some more use.
Yes, sir.
That's always good for anything on the west end, and thank you for all the staff work for getting all those numbers crunched when it comes down to things like even parking spaces and all that stuff. So thank you for that.
And we also noticed Pastor McGrew is with us with some of the congregants. Sir, do you have any, like to say anything, or don't want to put you on the spot, sir? Excellent. Thank you. And I call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, seeing none, it is passed. And we'll go to item number 4, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2025-036, amendments to Development Code Chapter 151, and declaring a 30-day public record be approved.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Staff report, Mr. Pregler.
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Mayor and members of council. As you are aware, the Community Development Department periodically reviews the development code to identify ways the city can improve efficiencies, clarify requirements, provide flexibility, and reduce unnecessary regulations. The proposed code amendments reflect these goals. Now, although you'll see that there are many formatting and organizational changes proposed, staff will be focusing and addressing the substantive code amendments tonight. Now, the first amendment relates to construction staging areas and temporary field offices. The city has received requests from utility companies to store equipment and materials or install temporary construction trailers or other temporary structures on vacant sites during the duration of a construction project. Now, the current temporary use language does not address these situations. Therefore, the city created a definition of construction staging area and temporary field office to address these types of temporary uses. A construction staging area is defined as a site used for the temporary storage of construction-related equipment and materials. A temporary field office is defined as a construction trailer or other approved temporary structure used as a field office in conjunction with a construction project or other use approved by the city on government property. Now, there are some development standards associated with these types of uses. For example, a 6-foot opaque security fence will be required. The area has to be maintained to prevent dust and other public nuisances. And of course, there will be requirements for the length of the permit itself as well. Now, the second set of amendments relates to the sign code. The city is proposing an increase in sign height of up to 25% for the inclusion of architectural features. No advertising can be included within this 25% area. So, for example, if a sign is 10 feet in height, an additional 2.5 feet can be used for architectural features. The next change allows reductions of waivers to the 5-foot sign setback for existing signs and existing developed sites, where site constraints make the setback impractical. The request for reduction or waiver of setback will be approved administratively after an assessment of site constraints. The next sign amendment expands the list of exempt signs to include murals, statues, window signs, interior reader boards, interior signs not viewed from a public street, directional signs, real estate signs, panel replacement signs, and corporate or company logo flags. Although exempt from sign permits, the signs will still need to meet their dimensional and duration standards as necessary. Now, other sign amendments revise the standards for portable signs, which emphasize and require aesthetics and durability. For example, portable signs are required to be professionally made or neatly hand-painted and must be resistant to other conditions. Standards for feather banners are also created. These include a maximum display time of 21 days, 4 times per calendar year, a maximum area of 20 square feet, a maximum height of 10 feet. They need to be located on the property requesting the sign, and the number is limited to 1 per 100 linear feet of street frontage, up to 6 per frontage. Finally, the definition of directional sign was revised for clarity, and the definition of permanent sign was added. Now, this definition requires design standards for permanent signs to help reduce the usage of non-durable materials. Moving away from signs, the next topic is setbacks for semi-detached structures in single-family residential zoning districts. Now, the matrix of allowed uses permits semi-detached single-family residences in the SFR zoning district. However, The current language requires a 5-foot setback on both sides of a residence. So to allow for semi-detached homes, an amendment is proposed stating that the 5-foot setback is only allowed on the end unit, while there will be a 0 setback on the actually attached side of the home. The next set of amendments relates to landscaping, wall screening, and buffer, which relate to the landscaping for new commercial and industrial sites. According to the Development Code, revisions were made to ensure that landscaped areas within a developed commercial site contribute meaningfully with the natural and built environment, while promoting water efficiency, native plant diversity, and long-term sustainability. One such revision requires that 25% of the landscaped area, which is 15% of the entire site, must be shaded within 10 years of planting based on the projected mature canopy spread of trees. Another amendment requires a minimum of 3 different species of trees and 5 different species of shrubs or cacti be used for landscaping purposes. Now, the current section currently requires no more than 20% of one species be planted, but it does not address the number of different species. Now, this amendment will ensure that there is a diverse landscape area. Additional amendments in this section will require permeable hardscapes such as decomposed granite within all non-vegetated areas. Landscape rock to be earth tone in color, a minimum diameter of a ½ inch, a minimum depth of 2.5 inches. There shall be a minimum of 1 tree and 2 shrubs per landscape island. The landscape code currently requires 1 tree per island. However, the amendment would now require those 2 additional shrubs. And then in the buffer and screening requirements, the minimum buffer chart, which shows the required distances between zoning districts, has been removed, and the buffer distances are now included within the individual zoning district sections. And the reason for this buffer relocation is to include all dimensional standards in one location, helping developers to locate the development standards more easily. Now let's discuss residential conversions. In 2016, the city amended the development code to permit multifamily buildings such as apartments in general commercial zoning districts. That amendment reflected the trend of converting hotels into apartments. Now, the development code currently requires a minimum lot area of 1,740 square feet per unit and a maximum number of 48 units per building. Now, these density and unit ratios often conflict with existing commercial buildings looking to keep the same number of units following a conversion. So to resolve this conflict, staff is proposing amendments requiring the owner of a commercial building to apply for a conditional use permit in which a concept plan identifying property development standards such as density can be reviewed and ultimately approved by City Council. This process allows for an avenue to address these density concerns and eliminates the need for a variance. And finally, the final amendments address setbacks for attached carports and covered patios in manufactured home parks. The city has received requests for construction of attached carports and covered patios within manufactured home parks. However, the width of the spaces and the size of the manufactured homes prevent some carports or covered patios from meeting the minimum 5-foot building setback. As a result, staff proposes reducing the building setback for carports and covered patios from 5 feet to 3 feet, which is the equivalent setback of a detached accessory structure. Now, an assessment of the manufactured home parks indicated that many of the existing carports and covered patios are currently 3 feet to the space line. So the amendment would bring many of these carports and covered patios into compliance. The fire marshal and building official do support the amendment with the caveat that the carports and covered patios need to be made of non-combustible materials to prevent the spread of fires. Staff is also proposing to remove language allowing detached garages and carports to be located in front of a principal structure. Again, manufactured home parks. This prohibition on accessory structure placement is consistent with other zoning districts and is not applicable in most situations because most carports are generally located in the side yards. So the Planning and Zoning Commission did hear these items at their March 25th and April 29th meeting. There was unanimous approval of the amendments. And this does conclude staff's report.
Thank you, sir. Any comments, questions from the council?
They all make sense, all the changes. Especially when we already have some of these things taking place and we're just trying to make it I think the one manufactured home park that I'm thinking of, it was in the county, and then we annexed them, and that's why, yeah. And it makes sense, especially at the last one, the carports, because the only difference between a detached and a connected is that piece of paper, if you fit it in between. So if you just attach it, you have to leave this much more space. That doesn't make sense. So this makes more sense. I agree with all the changes.
Councilman Rodriguez.
Oh, thank you. Everything's good. Thank you for the rundown.
All right, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, seeing none, is passed. We'll go to our new business, Councilwoman Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2025-037, authorization to submit projects for consideration by the Arizona Governor Office of Highway Safety in the form of reimbursable grants from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration be approved.
Second.
Then properly moved in second. Staff report, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor McCaw, members of council. The resolution for your approval is a request by Sierra Vista Fire and Medical Services seeking grant fund aid through the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. The items requested are extrication tools, car seats, and associated employee-related expenses. Authorization to submit projects for consideration by the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety comes in the form of reimbursable grants from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Grant money for this request has been put into the budget. And with that, I'll answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments? No comments for Chief. All right. Call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, seeing none, it is passed. Our next item, we have two call to the publics tonight. We have first is Betty Pointer. Ma'am, good afternoon. And you have 5 minutes, ma'am. You'll see a green light here that will illuminate. When it's red, your time has expired, and we ask you to sit down.
Good evening, Mayor McCaw and City Council members. My name is Betty Pointer. My husband and I live in Mission Shadows neighborhood, which is adjacent to the Sierra Vista Golf Center, specifically on the parking lot side. Mission Shadows is a quiet community whose residents are mature folks like myself, similar to many of the homeowners who are residing in neighborhoods that are adjacent to the golf course premises. We have lived in Mission Shadows for 6.5 years, and for one weekend during each year, we've experienced in the month of May the charity golf tournament and related festivities. It's just 2 nights, and it's for a worthy cause. It's always noisy. However, the evening events, including live music, have been conducted in a tent erected on a fairway near the clubhouse. I attended Tuesday's City Council work session and heard that the former tennis and pickleball court area is being considered for a parking lot and potential location for tented events. This area is roughly 30 feet from the Mission Shadows homes. If there are late night facilities and festivities with music, etc., conducted that close to our homes on a regular basis, it could be a real nuisance for us. Even daytime activities that close by wouldn't be so desirable. I'm always looking for positive solutions to challenges, and when Tony mentioned at the work session that he's working with an architect on ideas for modifications to the golf center clubhouse and to the adjacent areas, I started thinking that as plans are considered for this, it would be really great if these could be displayed in an area in the clubhouse with a rendered site plan that shows how the spaces are proposed to be used. This way, neighbors and general citizenry of Sierra Vista could have a better idea of future changes and have an opportunity to ask questions and make comment. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for the chance to bring up this issue. I would also like to personally thank Councilman Dave Jones for his comments at the work session regarding driving range hours. I personally collected more than 45 petition signatures of Mission Shadows residents who expressed concerns about operating the driving range with lights, music, and alcohol service until 10 p.m. And there's still that concern in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Betty. Our next citizen is Ms. Karen Flynn. Good morning. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes. We got through this quite quickly. I thought we were going to have a very long meeting and everybody would just be tired and ready to go home. So I'm glad that I got to be up here quite quickly. Okay. Mr. Mayor, council members, I'm Karen Flynn, and I'm the author of that spreadsheet that I sent to you a couple of weeks ago, the colorful with all the numbers, showing how low the usage of the golf course driving range was from 8 to 9 p.m. Should I stand over here? Over 15 days in April. I was here at Tuesday's work session presentation on golf course operations, and I heard a couple of questions during that presentation that I'm going to address here. First, I had a question wondering, how did that information get gathered and the data come to be? And it's very simple. Every evening, I walked out my back door along the cart path over towards the driving range. The driving range, the structure is lit up like a Christmas tree. It's simple as me standing here and saying, oh, here out of the 26 bays, here how many of them are being used and how many people are in each of those bays. So that's how I gathered that information. The second question I heard was along the lines of, what harm is anyone suffering from this lighted range? Just yesterday morning, my husband was out at the newspaper, getting the newspaper at the curb, and there was a couple walking by, and they started chit-chat. My husband's quite a chatter, and they are residents. I'm not going to say their names or what street they live on, but they have purchased another house out in the county 3 miles down the road and are selling their house that is along the golf course, because they live right near the range itself. And so they have music now all day long from 7 in the morning until it closes. It's very audible to the houses that are nearby. They expect the noise to get worse over time, so they're selling and moving. And we who live on the golf course, if we were to sell our home, now we have to list noise and light issues in our seller's disclosures. When a potential buyer sees those, and who wants to live with noise and lights in their backyard? It will definitely, I believe, reduce the number of hours or the potential offers that you would get for your home. For 35 years, the mostly retirement, as Betty said, the mostly retirement-aged community that lives around the course has had golf balls in their yard. We live on a golf course. We understand that. But we have not had lights and music close to the all day long, one or the other for the range. It's a significant change, and I think that no one here would want that in their backyard. My third point is the agreement itself. Paradigm's agreement with the Mesa course that they manage is the very same as Sierra Vista's. I understand the necessity of this due to the urgent need to get an agreement in place. I'm a retired Army civilian contracting officer. I did a tour in Afghanistan writing contracts. I know what urgency means. But there are differences between Mesa and Sierra Vista that aren't accounted for in that agreement. Demographically, Mesa has a population of over 500,000 people, Greater Phoenix, 5 million people. Sierra Vista, 44,000. What those demographics bring in Phoenix are many, many golf courses and indoor and outdoor ranges and simulators that use a similar technology. Paradigm's Mesa course is its only location in the Phoenix area, and it has a lot of competition because there are so many other locations with the same type of ball tracking technology. And the evening heat in Phoenix makes people who want to golf need to do that in the evening. The hours in the Mesa agreement make perfect sense. Here in Sierra Vista, Paradigm's a monopoly. They're the only game in town. People who want to hit balls will simply time shift if it closes at 8 p.m. They'll come when it's open. My final point is that I've heard it said that the agreement can't be changed, but there have been 3 amendments to the agreement already. So if the council desires it, yes, it can be changed. Especially because this is a 10-year-long agreement that was put in place within 2 weeks. Surely there are some issues in there that need to be re-looked at. Finally, I ask you to give the area residents affected by this the same amount of consideration that you've shown to Paradigm and amend the agreement so that the music and the lights, even the ones on the range, the red, white, and blue lights that are on right now until 9:30, that they're all out by 8 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. No more call to the publics, and we have comments and requests of the council. Start off with Councilwoman Jackson.
Come back to me, please.
Oh,
I'm good.
you good? All right. Councilman Jones.
I have nothing.
Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you, sir. A few things going on this weekend close in our area. A lot of things on Saturday. Saturday's a busy day. I'll just mention a few of the things. You have the Buffalo Troopers Motorcycle Club is doing a roadside cleanup out on Buffalo Soldier Trail near the Fort Huachuca Gate. So if you see them out there, that's what's going on. Thank you for them for cleaning up that the road area. And then the Spirit of Buffalo Soldier Awards are also on Saturday at Buena High School starting at 10 a.m. It's a great award ceremony. So if you can go, if you have time on Saturday to go check that out. For those students that have done some major improvement throughout the year, they'll be honored that day. And then next week, also Saturday is Coffee with a Cop over at McDonald's on Fry. It's not a trick. It's not a trap. If you legit want to go talk to the cops, they will be there. They've done this before. It's not. They're not there to round nobody up. They're not going to run your plate for warrants. You know. So you legit can go have coffee with a cop, and they will talk to you. And if any concerns you have, it's a great time to do it. So do that on Saturday from 8 to 10. And then let's see. I want to thank you for the people that applied for the vacant city council seat. 15 people applied, so good luck to all of you. With that many people applying, it shows that people are interested in wanting to be part of it and make a difference in their own way. So thank you for everybody that applied for that. And like I said, best of luck to all of you. Congrats to Franco's Barbershop. Just the love they have for each other, that's amazing in itself. So that's like a really good example of what right should look like, I think, for a lot of people. I really admired that couple just talking to each other. Which leads me to my last point. Mother's Day is coming up Sunday, yes. Right? So I want to say Happy Mother's Day ahead of time to my mom, my sister, my wife, all the mothers out there. Have a great Mother's Day. Make sure you at least call them, get them something. You still got time to go out there and go to the store and get them something, or at least give them a call. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Landry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to thank everybody who came and spoke at Call to the Public. We always really appreciate hearing people's feedback. And I like that especially because our sessions are recorded so anybody can go back and listen to them and hear your thoughts. So we always appreciate that. Congratulations to Franco's Barbershop and for the National Small Business Week. I just encourage everybody to go out there and support small businesses in our community all year long, every day if you can. So I just go out there this weekend, and if there's one that you haven't been to or you didn't really know about, just go in there and give them a try, support them, find out a little bit more about them. They really keep our community, make our community what it is. So I think that's a great thing to celebrate. I also wanted to give a shout out to some of the 2025 Cochise County Teachers of the Year. Yes. So 2025 Teacher of the Year is Miss Shaniqua Matthias from Carmichael Elementary. For the elementary school teacher of the year is Miss Natalie Wise from Huachuca Mountain. And then the high school teacher of the year is from ALA, Miss Emily Hines. So if you know any of those teachers, definitely give them a congratulations and just thank all the teachers because they're getting closer to the end of the school year, so things are getting pretty wild in the schools. And then for the special project of the year, it was Douglas High School, their dog squad. So congratulations to all of them and all that they do. Teachers are definitely underpaid and overworked, and they really need to hear from us how much we appreciate them because they have such a ripple effect on the community. So I wanted to make sure I gave a shout out to them. And then, as Councilmember Rodriguez said, there's lots going on in the community this Saturday, lots and lots. So definitely check your schedule out and see if you can pack that schedule on Saturday and try to go to as many as you can. One thing that's going on from 9 to 1 p.m. in Veterans Memorial Park is celebrating animals. So there'll be live demonstrations. Last year this year they'll have some of the AKC. They have like the show dogs doing really, really cool things, really cool dogs there. There'll be lots of adoptions. Lots of different organizations will be there that have all kinds of different pets. So if you are maybe thinking about getting a pet or you maybe want to foster one, this is a great way to go out there and look at all the different organizations and learn about them. Educational booths, there'll be alpacas and reptiles, petting zoo, raffles, food trucks. And then there'll be low-cost rabies vaccines and microchips on site. So if that's something that you or somebody you know needs to get done, that's a great place to do that. And then the Friends of the Sierra Vista Animal Shelter, one of the big things that they do is they help with the spay and neuter. So this week they opened up the $20 spay and neuter vouchers. I don't really know how long. I'm sure they're probably all gone, but $20 for a spay and neuter, that is crazy. We had one of our dogs neutered. There was some complications, and it was $1,700. So $20 is great. So if you know anybody that needs that done, definitely keep an eye out for that. I feel like if everybody spayed and neutered their pets, our shelters would not be as full as they are. So that's something that we all should kind of support. And then if you are feeling kind of giving, then you can always donate to any of the organizations or the shelter. I double dog dare you to donate to every single one for bonus points. So that'll be a really fun thing to go to. Definitely check that out. And then, as Councilmember Benning would say, be blessed.
Excellent. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dr. Councilmember Landry sounded like Bob Barker there at the end. Like, spay and neuter your pets. Yeah, and Miss Mathias at Carmichael was my daughter's teacher. She's a newer teacher, only been there a few years. And it's awesome that she's Teacher of the Year, but also extra awesome because her mom happens to work here at the city downstairs. She's the admin for our city manager and our mayor. And so I'm sure Yvette is very proud of her as well, as we all are. This day 17 years ago, I became a mom, so it's extra special. But I did, yeah. But even though I didn't get to continue being his mom, I still felt like a mom, but just didn't have a physical baby. So I know there's moms out there that maybe they're not necessarily moms, but I hope everyone who is a mother in some way or another has a very happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to my mom, sister, and especially my wife. Happy Mother's Day to all. And that is it from us. We are dismissed.